I'm sitting here with my good friend Kevin Tenney. Kevin, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. How about you?
I am better than I have been. How was your Christmas?
It was pretty good. It was busy,
First one,
but
first one with two kids, right?
yes.
So
So it
you're
was very busy, and of course, everybody wanted us to go over. So we had a lot of driving around to do, which sucked. But it was a good day. Everyone had, yeah, they enjoyed themselves. So it was a good day.
well. That's good, man. I'm glad to hear that.
How
I,
about you?
dude, it's been an interesting Christmas. Most importantly, it was really good to get home, see the wife, a little conjugal visit action, see my son, who I feel like every day gets like he's going to kill me at some point in my sleep. But before I even got to go there, as you know, if you guys have been following my Facebook, I tumbled at my house bad. Like I really thought it was bad. Like I could not get up. I had to call 911, which I called my wife first, so she could basically tell me it was okay to call 911. And I'm calling her the whole time, be like, "Listen, honey, I need you to be calm." And I'm the one freaking out. So I could not, like, if I rolled, I tried rolling, and if I rolled, it felt like the muscle was coming off of my leg. It hurt so bad. So I'm in this new town, and all I've heard about the hospital here is basically that it's like murderers row. Like this is where people go to die. So I'm thinking about this as I'm calling 911. Like they're gonna take me to the death hospital, so I might not even make it out. And so right off the bat, like I'm thinking, oh, my vacation's screwed up, so I'm not gonna get to fly home because I'm gonna be screwed up. My leg's definitely screwed up.
Yeah.
And so I got there. They X-rayed it, wasn't broken, which is always good. But they said I need an MRI, which I wasn't able to get one here in Ohio. So I basically used the next day to kind of drive to the pharmacy to get my prescriptions for my pain pills and stuff.
Yeah.
And just to see if I could drive, because I had to drive 2.5 hours to Indianapolis to the airport. So it wasn't going to be like just, like if I'm in Akron, I'm just going to Akron Airport, driving, 40 minutes to Cleveland. I had a 2.5 hour flight ahead of me. I'd actually see if I could drive. And I could, but it was effort. Like it took me extra long to get in the truck. And then the worst thing still to this day, like the worst part is hitting the gas and brake. So that was like I had to do everything extra early for the braking, so I didn't murder anybody or myself. But I got there, got to the airport, found out my flight had got canceled. Like
Are you serious?
just as I'm literally going up to the desk, I find out my flight's got canceled, and so it didn't start off well. The nice thing was they were able to get me into a flight right away. Was basically getting ready to like load into Vegas, so I just went into Vegas instead of Chicago.
Why'd they cancel it? Do you know?
No,
Or
fog.
oh, okay.
So yeah, I get on there. I'm heading out. We get to Vegas. Vegas now. I'm in a handicap chair. I'm in a wheelchair, right?
Yeah.
And because I cannot, like at this point, I still could not walk. Like I had crutches, but I wasn't gonna. I didn't take the crutches because they were just too hard to walk on. So I could hobble, but it was a real pain in the ass. And so I had a wheelchair that took me from, in Indianapolis, they took me basically from the bus to my door, which was really sweet because I got to cut in front of all the lines, which were crazy long.
Hmm.
And then in Vegas, I'm sitting there, and there was like 2.5 hours in between flights for a layover. And they took our good friends at Southwest took my handicap chair. And there was nowhere else for me to sit, by the way. And I'm like, I can't, like, you don't understand. Like, it's not like I'm just, like, sitting here chilling. Like, I cannot physically, it's not just I'm fat and don't want to get up. Like, I really cannot put weight on my leg. They're like, oh, sorry, we need this thing. So they took my wheelchair, which still to this day, I can't, like, as I'm saying it right now, I can't believe this happened to me. They take my wheelchair. Finally, I do get into Salt Lake, which was really good. We had, we don't really do much for regular Christmas. We do our family Christmas,
Hmm.
which is after. So that ended up being a whole lot of fun. Really good time. Good time to get back to Utah for a bit. kind of reset. I'd worked like 20, it would have been 22 days in a row. I think it ended up being 20 or 21 days in a row. So I needed a couple of days off, and I think that's part of the reason why I fell. And not that it's my work's fault at all, just that I was kind of zoned out, and I was trying to pick the house up before I, headed out for a couple of days. And I'm not sure if I slipped. I have a bathroom scale in my kitchen, and then I had my shoes were kind of like just thrown off because that's what I do. If you ask my wife, she'll tell you it's probably one of the things that frustrates her. Is I just kind of like kick my shoes wherever.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what I just wasn't paying attention, and I fell on one of those. But dude, I know like my leg went in a way that it was just not naturally meant to go in the first place. Mm-hmm. And then you think about like my big ass weight going down on that weight that direction. It was not good, no fun at all. But all that being said, I had a great trip, good trip home, back here to Ohio. Start work back tomorrow. I'm glad the holidays are over, to be honest with you. We've kind of poo-pooed on Christmas the last couple of years just because it's been so much negativity for us. That Christmas kind of just blows in general the last couple of years. So I did get Trevor a new gaming PC, which Kim thought was a really bad idea. And she's probably 100% right. But the thing was, like, if I'm going to spend money on him for Christmas, I want him to actually, like, use whatever I give him. So most of the time, like that's what I told Kim. I was like, if we get him XYZ, right? And most of the time he's not going to use it because that kid spends all his time on his computer. And so the one big thing he asked us for was a new gaming computer. And we went back and forth. And I was like, well, we're both employed now, and it's going to be good for when they get out here because he'll have something. The computer he was using was one of my old ones that was dying. But yeah, I don't think he's left his room since he got that thing. Shout out to Brian, man. I hope you're feeling better. Happy belated birthday. He says he might join us next week. That'd be good. Sure, he's got some opinions on everything going on around the world.
Yeah.
So, which is crazy right now. Outside of like our president, I think is about to start a war. Sporting news is getting kind of crazy. Got a bunch of head coaches out there. Ron Rivera signed pretty quickly to the Redskins.
It's kind of shocked that he signed that quick.
I agree. I thought he would take more interviews because I think he would have had his pick of several options. Because most people that I've kind of seen talk and I've talked to think that he kind of got a raw deal.
For the Redskins?
No, he got a raw deal in Carolina with.
Oh yeah. Completely agree with you on that.
The starting quarterback went down, and even then they were competitive the entire year. They
fell off at the end, but yeah, they were competitive for a while.
He wasn't there at the end though. They fired him early.
So I don't know if it's true. I heard a report that he was seen out at dinner the night before it was announced that he signed whatever day, Monday. Is that he signed Monday or Tuesday?
Yeah.
Whatever day he signed, the night before, the rumor I've heard was he was spotted out at dinner with Dan Snyder and Barack Obama.
Yeah, I heard that too. I guess that's a good selling point if you get the former president to come in and help sell you on coming to Washington to coach. But
yeah, especially when he was busting your balls because of your name.
I think he could have went anywhere and been in a better situation. I don't like the Washington job. I think Dan Snyder, outside of the Haslams and a few other people, might be one of the worst owners in the entire league.
Yeah.
It is, and the Haslams. I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to try to steer away from that because I know that's going to be a deep dive, and I do have to work in the morning, so I can't go incredibly late tonight. But the Haslam situation, oh my god. So yeah, it is. It's crazy. Anyways, what did you have? I know you said you were talking about topic you wanted to talk about today. What do you got on your list of?
Let me find my notes. I was working on something else. I was waiting for you to bring it up because I know you're going to bring it up, so I'll wait. But let's see.
Am I surprised?
Oh, Ohio State Clemson. Got to talk about that game.
Actually, it was better than I thought. I went into that game concerned for Ohio State as soon as it was announced, I was like, I thought they got a bad draw. Um, I thought I mean, what was it last 63 or something, last or 30 something to 0 last time we played them.
Yeah, they were
Um,
well going into that game. They were 0-3 against Clemson. They had never beat Clemson. Now, I mean, they still haven't beat Clemson, but
let's say
going
I
into
don't think
that
that's
game,
changed yet, buddy.
yeah, I know. I'm just saying, up and going into that game, they hadn't won, and then obviously the outcome of the game, they still haven't won.
Yeah, the thing is, they were in full control of that game until that helmet to helmet, which I'm not going to argue it should have been a penalty. I think the ejection is a bit much. I don't know. I don't obviously fully understand that rule. It sounds like, but I think the fact that they called it targeting and they ejected the guy, that's kind of where I, yeah, I can't get into it.
That's college football. Any helmet to helmet rule hit is targeting automatic, and it's an automatic ejection.
Does that make sense to you though? Because I mean, like seriously,
It
like that.
does. But here's the thing: they're talking, which I think they want to try to pass a rule to go with that, where there'll be two levels where you can look at it, and if it's egregious, like you did it on purpose, then you reject it. If not, it's just a 15-yard penalty. If they do that, then I think that would be better for the game. But even if they do that, more than likely the way the rule is going to go is he would have still been ejected because he lowered his head right before he went in for the hit. And that's always the big thing they look for. If he wouldn't have lowered his head, he wouldn't have been ejected. But he lowered his head. So
But even if
either
you're
way, even if they
tackling with,
do the two levels, it's going to be, if you lower your head, it's going to be an automatic ejection.
but even if you're tackling with your shoulder pad, you're gonna lower your head technically. It just so happens.
Now, if you do it right,
I don't think he intentionally meant to hit him in the head. I guess is what I'm saying.
no,
Like,
I don't think he did, but I'm just saying that's what the rule is gonna be. If they would ever change it, that's the one part they're gonna keep for because that's the main part of the automatic ejection. If you lower your head and come in with the crown of the helmet, that's like the big part of the rule. And he did that. So even if they do the two tiers, he's still gonna be ejected for that play.
I think that's where I have my problem is, and I don't know. Maybe it's like safe or blah blah blah. I just
Well,
really
that's all it is for. It's for safety. And see, that's the thing. Like that part, that did change the momentum at that part of the game. But that wasn't the worst thing because I mean that was the right call. It sucked, but it was the right call. The part that really screwed it was the fumble return for the touchdown because that screwed everything. Because it took the touchdown away, it gave Clemson the ball back, and and like that's in my opinion, in college and high school, momentum changes are a lot bigger and make a bigger difference than it does in the pros. Because the pros, you see a lot of turnovers, you see a lot of stuff, and sometimes it does, make the momentum change. But in pro, it just seems like it changes so much back and forth. But college, you get that big play and you like kill the other team's momentum and you get all that momentum. That's a huge thing. And that's, in my opinion, that was the changing point of the game. That really screwed the Buckeyes. And and then what was it? Like every like lead official for every other conference came out and said how that was a bad call, and the SEC's like sticking to their guns. They're like, "Oh no, we made the right call." And so with that, for bowl games, whatever two teams, the conferences that are in that game, um, the referees got to come from a different conference. They can't come from. So you couldn't have an ACC ref or you can have a Big Ten ref.
yeah,
So
I
that's
get
why
it.
you had SEC. So I think when it comes to the college playoffs, any for the first round, any conference that's in the playoffs, their referees should not be able to officiate either game. You should have two referee groups from conferences that are not a part of that. So you could have easily had Big 12 or no, Pac 12 and the All American Conference or something.
Yeah.
Just because it just doesn't, because a play like that looks so bad, and when everyone's saying how that was the wrong call, but that conference, the SEC, which already knew LSU was in the championship SEC team, it just doesn't look good for them, in my opinion.
No, I totally agree. I mean, there was definitely some bad calls in that game.
Oh yeah,
But Ohio State could have played better. I mean, you look at the interception at the end, which kind of sealed it. They were in the game. I honestly, yeah, Ohio State came up on the short end, but I honestly enjoyed watching the game.
It was a really good game.
And I can't say that very often for college football, even if I'm watching my beloved Buckeyes. Obviously, Chase Young got dicked out of the Heisman. I think we can all pretty much agree on that.
Yeah, he wasn't going to win it anyway.
They
so
should. They need to. It needs to not be an actual. They shouldn't call it like it shouldn't. They should just call it the best quarterback. And I know they already have that, but that's what it should be because that's all they give it to.
Yeah.
And
But I mean, I think Young had his shot. Like he actually had a legitimate shot at it. But I mean, Burrow had that wrapped up after he beat Alabama.
but I don't think the playoffs should count.
It doesn't. He got it before the playoffs.
Oh, Alabama.
They beat Alabama
yeah,
in
sorry,
the regular
sorry.
season.
Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking same color scheme.
Because I mean, that's just the way. Because if you look at it, it's like it's a big thing for I don't know for beating Alabama. Like they put a lot into that. As long as it's not an Alabama running back winning it. If you beat Alabama, that just like it seems to propel you. Because I mean, that's the only reason Johnny Manziel won the Heisman because he beat Alabama that year. If it wasn't for that, he doesn't win the Heisman.
I just think that there are few players in the game, if any, that have can literally own a football game like Chase Young did this year. Burrows was awesome. I don't know. To me, like I just was really behind the idea of Chase Young was the best player in the league this year.
Yeah, but if Burrows isn't your starting quarterback, LSU's not undefeated. Chase Young missed games and they still won. Like he's a big impact player, but he's not the difference maker in that game. Fields is more of a. If Fields was missing, that would have affected Ohio State more than Chase Young would have. And that's the big thing about the Heisman. It's kind of like the NFL MVP. I don't agree with it always being a quarterback.
But it always
I completely
is.
agree with that. But I'm just saying. I mean, Chase Young, he's a heck of a player. He's the best. I believe he's the best defensive player out there. But he missed 2 games.
I'm sorry if I'm the Bengals, I'm taking him one.
You got to take Burrows.
It's just like because I just think there's more holes in that on that team. I think it reminds me a lot of the Cleveland Browns expansion season in '99, where we took Couch and we should have never took Couch. Should have drafted
Ricky Williams.
Should have drafted linemen. Like yeah, fine, but still. But then you draft the rest of your draft is nothing but offensive and defensive linemen.
But see, that's the thing. Or Cincinnati, they got a pretty decent offensive line. Decent. I didn't say they're great or anything, but they're decent. They got a good young running back, and they got good young receivers. Even if you take away AJ Green, I mean, they still got a pretty decent receiving core. So, I mean, quarterback, Dalton wasn't that good. He's been declining the last couple of years. Their backup's definitely not going to be a starter. So, I mean, Burrows, you have a chance to come in there, and, yeah, you might not win 21-10. You might win, like, 46-45. But Burrow could be that big difference for him.
And I think that's who they're going to take. No one ever listens to my opinion when it comes to that because, well, have you seen my fantasy football record? Not good. Speaking of that, I still got to donate. I forgot to do that.
Yeah, what are we supposed to donate
I think
to?
it is, I'll double check and put it on there. I want to say Alzheimer's.
Okay. I wasn't sure. That's the only reason I haven't donated yet. I didn't want to donate to the wrong thing.
I'm going to double check and send something out to everybody who needs to donate still because I want to get that done. I was planning on doing it before I went to Utah, and then I fell on my ass, and my whole game plan kind of changed. So I heard something today, or actually I think it was yesterday. It kind of threw me off a little bit. So there's obviously a lot of rumors that Phillip Rivers is done in San Diego, that they're going to move on from him and go a different way, which maybe it's time to do that for Phillip Rivers. But I heard that the Colts are going to go hard at him.
Yeah, I heard that too.
And I don't understand that because no disrespect. Oh, we got a little Facebook. Michael Wilson, you're saying one person will make the Bengals better. I guess that's to you saying that Burrow will make the Bengals better. I don't think anything makes the Bengals better. I think they're going to have another rough year next year as well, personally.
They'll finish ahead of the Browns next year.
Well, at this rate, I'm not even going to disagree with you, Kevin. I'm not even going to disagree with you on that, buddy. Strongly probably going to agree. What was I say? Oh, Phillip Rivers to San Diego. I don't understand this play. So, Phillip Rivers, all-time great quarterback, probably a Hall of Famer. Guy's got more heart than a lot of other players we've seen play at that position. But he is at the end. And you have a guy like Jacoby. I don't know that he's better than Jacoby Brissett right now. I actually like Jacoby Brissett quite a bit.
I like him too.
Did you hear about this?
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Does it make sense to you? Because to me, it doesn't make any sense.
I agree. I don't think it makes any sense. The only way it makes sense is if you do that, you're giving up on Brissett, which you just gave a huge contract to because you made him your starting quarterback. After
like $60 million. Didn't they give him like $60 million over 3 years?
Nah, it was like 30. That's still a pretty big bump for what he was making.
I'm gonna look it up.
But yeah, that's just the only crazy thing because it's like I said, I like Brissett. I think he needs time because he wasn't practicing to be the starter or any of that stuff, and then you throw him in there to be the starter.
But I thought it was pretty decent.
Yeah, he did do good. I'm just saying, he's still, if you give him a full year, practice, now he had the season, but now he's going to have the off season. He's going to be the starting quarterback, all that stuff, it could definitely help him out, make him freaking look better. So I don't know. I just think it's crazy. If they do it that way, I think they're giving up on him too soon.
Well, they did give him, it was 2 years, $30 million contract, basically right after what's his face retired. Andy.
Yeah.
And he'll make $15 million next year, and then he's an unrestricted free agent in 2021. Here's the deal, Phillip Rivers, I don't know. Bring him in as a backup. I just don't know that there's many places that he's going to start that makes sense to me. Where the people they have in place, whether it be a young rookie, is better than, or is going to be, that he's going to be so much significantly better that it's worth taking the reps away from that guy. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think about the league, I think, the places that I would even consider. New York, Daniel Jones. I think that guy's the future there. He's got some growing to do. Same thing. I think Brissett could be the guy in Indy for the future. I don't know. I'm not seeing a squad. I think if Phil Rivers wants to go somewhere and back up just to collect some checks, and which I don't see why he does got 47 kids. So a lot of mouths to feed, a lot of kids to put through college.
Yeah.
So if he wants to just go collect checks as a backup, I think he could be a great backup anywhere, but I just wouldn't. There's nowhere I'd send that guy unless you're like a gap year team that literally doesn't have anybody right now and you're not expecting to be in the hunt for one of these big draft picks this year, then maybe for a gap year guy as a starter, but I don't know. I think it's a bad plan by Indy.
Yeah, if it comes out that that's if that ends up being what happens, yeah, I agree with you. I think it's a bad choice, bad way to go.
Even Denver, he might be. I know Eric says the guy they have there, who I didn't even take time to remember his name because Denver goes through quarterbacks like Cleveland goes through coaches. Actually, faster.
And quarterbacks.
Yeah, Eric seems to think the guy there is it Locke, Drew Locke.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, Eric seems to think that guy is decent for the future, but Eric thinks that about everybody. It's, like I said, hashtag respect, fill in the blank for Eric, whoever's the current Broncos quarterback. So maybe Phillip Rivers in Denver, right, for a year, just to kind of fix
Oakland, Las Vegas. They're talking about going after leaving moving on past Carr.
Why? Was Carr's numbers that terrible? Did I miss something this year? The team was where none of us thought they would be. They were in playoff contention all the way to week 17.
Yeah.
Why would you want? See, this is what I don't understand. I feel like, and I go back to the Browns because I have a lot of hate in my heart for them right now. Actually, I don't. I love my Cleveland Browns. I have a lot of hate in my heart for Haslam. I even just typed in Derek Haslam. That's how upset I am about this Cleveland Browns situation. I'm looking at his stats for this year because I don't think they had a terrible year. Like nothing jumps out at me. He's not Jameis Winston. Oh, there you go. Maybe take Phillip Rivers down in Tampa for a year. They have to be going away from Winston, right? Like they can't really be thinking about bringing him on again.
You would think, especially after the comments Arian said, because he sat there. They asked whatever. I can't remember what the question was, but his answer was, whatever. They were 7-9. He's like, we can win that many games with any quarterback.
Yeah, I did see that.
So I mean, it was kind of like the whole Adam Gase, Le'Veon Bell thing. He's like, he's under contract. I'm not in charge of personnel. Talk to so and so tomorrow.
I like that answer. So I'm looking at Derek Carr's season, right? Now, if your quarterback threw for 4,000 yards, 21 TDs, and 8 interceptions, are you really that concerned? He had 2 rushing touchdowns, so he had 23 total touchdowns for the year. He was 70% completion percentage. He averaged 253 yards a game. Like, why would you? What are you looking for? Because to me, that's a capable quarterback. I don't understand the problem.
I agree with you, but it's Gruden, and there was rumors that when he first took over the job that he didn't really want Carr.
And the thing is, like you say that, if Gruden has an issue, I have a hard time arguing because Gruden seems to be right on his path that he's on right now.
Yeah.
He's building this team to be competitive. Like I said, they were in the playoff hunt until week 16 or week 17. I mean, till the end. They had an opportunity to make the playoffs with significantly less talent than another team in the league who possibly wears orange. You look at who they drafted, that Josh Jacobs at running back seems like he's got a future there if he can stay healthy. I don't know. I wouldn't mess with that too much, especially going into that sweet-ass new stadium next year in Las Vegas.
I don't think they're going to be in the new stadium next year. I think they're playing at UNLV. I don't think the stadium's going to be ready until 2021.
I
remember right.
I thought this said 2020.
No, they have to go. They're moving out there 2020 because they didn't re-sign to stay in Oakland for another year.
What is that stadium called? Do you remember the new one?
I have no idea.
Besides sweet ass stadium,
just type in Raiders Stadium, Vegas Stadium.
This computer's not what. Oh, like Allegiant Stadium. I think we should ban. What's it called? Opening. I actually think it's opening for like concerts before August 2020.
Huh.
They will be playing there next year. And then I think also the the LA Stadium opens up next year as well. So it should be pretty sweet because the draft's in Vegas next year. Because then it's in Cleveland 2021. Which, guess where I'll be since I'm only a 3-hour drive away now.
Yeah. Yeah. Since we originally planned on going to the Vegas one.
Yeah, I want to go. Hey, I want to go to that too. Let's do it.
Don't worry, I want to too, but I definitely know I can't.
I'd love to make a Vegas trip. I'm not sure how to explain that to my wife. Listen, I know you just moved out here a couple of months ago, but we need to take a flight back west. It's really important. Actually, that'll be before she gets here because that will be in April, just after the XFL championship. If we make it to the championship, if our luck with spring football has not been very good the last 2 years. Did you see that SoFi Stadium though? Completely random, but I read a thing the other day where the SoFi, the company who's sponsoring the stadiums, basically they're afraid it's going to go bankrupt because they paid $400 million for 20 years of sponsorship.
For the XFL?
No. SoFi Stadium, the new Los Angeles stadium.
Okay,
they paid $400 million to sponsor it for 20 years, and they're already afraid it's going to go. The company's going bankrupt. So, things going well.
Sounds like it.
So what else we got here? The Cowboys still technically have not. I mean, I know every.
I thought I saw a thing that said that they were parting ways with them.
Yeah, I've
this
seen
morning.
that too, but I didn't actually see that on ESPN or NFL Network. You just got people throwing it out there that all things are pointing to there's going their separate ways, but there hasn't been even if I even went as far as going to Cleveland, DallasCowboys.com, and it said that still no decision. So there's nothing official yet. I know his contract's up on the 14th. Maybe they're just gonna try to take it for the next 10 days or so and let it. We're just not gonna renew him.
Hey, did you see? Did you listen to Pat McAfee's podcast where the one guy was talking about why they haven't got rid of him yet?
No, I do listen to that occasionally, but it's not on my regular rotation.
He was saying that every time.
Oh, the crying.
He's crying.
Yeah, I did.
He just can't do it because it's like he's like, have you ever tried to break up with a girlfriend while she's crying? They're like, they just got to send them a text.
And now that you say that, I did listen to that yesterday. I was happened to be listening to that when I went grocery shopping. Yeah, just text him. Listen, this isn't working out. It's not you, it's me. So forth and so on.
But how about when they do move on? Do you think he'll do something crazy like hire I just went blank on the tight end that just came back. I can't think of what his name is.
Oh, Witten?
Yeah, there we go.
He
think he could do something that crazy?
No, because I don't think he could control Witten. I think that players like that, he will never be the puppet that he wants. And that's the problem. He wants a puppet. If he wanted a real coach, he would bring in someone like Urban Meyer, someone like that, and who I know has interest in being the Cowboys quarterback. The Browns have hinted at, by the way, of having interest in him as well. They would have been looking at guys like Rivera. They would have fired. Honestly, they would have let him know that he was going to be fired earlier. Let him finish the year out and be like, listen, you're not coming back. Then you can start your process, right? Bring a guy like Rivera, who is an awesome, just coach. I watched this halftime thing for Rivera where he was, coaching the team up or down by, 17 points. That guy made me want to hire him right that instant. That guy's got passion and intensity. That is something that they don't want in Dallas.
Yeah, that's why I was surprised that he went so quick. Because I just figured he would have, he could have probably had any of the jobs open that he wanted.
The flip side is they might have given him something that maybe a lot of other jobs won't. Maybe he's got full control there, unlimited power. And if that's the case, it's hard to pass up that kind of authority where you don't have to worry about fighting with a GM.
And that's what it kind of seems like. I know you're going to get into it at some point, but it kind of seems like that's what the way the Browns are going to go, because they're going to hire from what I've read, they're going to hire the coach first, and then let the coach be in help with the GM or bringing in a guy, because they're already talking if McCarthy would be the head coach, who they think he would bring, and then even McDaniels, who he would bring. So it kind of seems like you're not going to be in full control, but you're going to have your own guy being the GM, so you're going to be able to get more of your own way, I guess. You would think.
Oh, Kevin. I can't. What else you have on your list? Because I know, here's the thing. I know once I get into the Cleveland Browns, that'll probably be the last thing we talk about. Because I probably have to be out of here in a half hour or so.
Okay.
Because I have to get up at 3:45. So I know once I get on that, it's going to be hard to get me off. And because I respect that you wrote a list, I want to respect that and not go crazy on the Cleveland Browns and what a fucked up situation we got there right now.
All right. The last thing I really got, because the other thing's the Browns, because I know you're going to bring it up, so I wrote stuff down. But I don't know if you heard, the NFL is talking about how they want to simplify the coin toss rules.
How fucking hard is it? It's head or tails.
This is the thing, because now they have it where you can, last couple of years, you can defer. So basically, you're going to kick off. So 2 weeks ago, I can't remember if it was week 16 or week 15.
Yeah.
But the Cowboys were playing. They won the coin toss, and Dak sat there and said, defer real quick. And he's like, we're going to kick that way, because you get to pick which way you're going to go because they're going to pick receive. So he's like, we're going to kick that way because he already knows how it goes with saying to the fur. Well, whatever official it was, I can't remember which one it was, but McAfee doesn't like him either. He just took it as they said we're kicking that way. So they took it as, they picked the kick. They didn't take to the fur.
What's the difference? Explain that to me. Because I have a hard time understanding this too.
Because when you win the coin toss, you get to pick then. At halftime, when the captains come back out, the losing captain from the first half, he gets the pick. So if Dak would have sat there and said, we kick off, whoever they play, just say they're playing the Eagles. So after halftime, the Eagles come out and it's like, so now it's their turn. So it's like, what are you going to do? And they're going to be like, well, we're going to fucking receive. So you'd have to kick off twice.
I'm confused. So you could kick off twice in the game?
Yeah.
Why would that ever be a thing? God, I must be really fucking stupid football guy. I just thought if you kicked to start the game, you automatically got the ball at halftime.
No. You have to pick what you want to do. That's why they put the defer in, because it used to be if you won the coin toss, that's why whoever won the coin toss used to receive. Because after halftime, the other team gets to pick what they're going to do. So, of course, they're going to receive because they want the ball. So if you would sit there, it's because that was the thing. The thing that screwed it all up was playing Madden. Madden had it the right way. You pick kick, you automatically receive, but that's not the way it is in the NFL. You have to pick on both ends. At the beginning of the game and after halftime, you have to pick. So, yeah. So if you screw up and you say we're kicking off, then after halftime, when the team comes out, the other team gets the pick. So if they choose to receive, which they're going to choose to receive, then you would have to technically kick off twice in that game.
So riddle me this, Batman. If I defer till halftime, right? That means I'm going to pick at halftime whether I want to kick or receive. Does that mean that the other team could then, in theory, say they want to kick off to me anyways? So I could receive the ball both times?
Yeah, if they screw up. Because that's the whole thing. When you say
that's fucking retarded, Kevin.
I know, but that's what the rule is.
I never.
So that's why they put the defer in there. So yes, if me and you, if I win the coin toss at the beginning of the game and I say I defer, so that means I want to pick after halftime. So it's your choice, and then you say I want to kick. So you're going to kick off to me. Then when I come back out after halftime, they're going to ask me, "What do you want to do?" I'm going to be like, "I want to receive." So you're going to have to kick off again.
Okay.
So that's why whenever. So that's why now, if they defer, that team has to pick receive so you can get the ball, or else you're not going to get the ball at either half.
See, this is just the NFL screwing things up.
And that's the thing, because like after that whole thing, the referee took it as he said he wanted to kick. So they were going to give the other team, basically, Dallas was going to have to kick off twice in that game. But luckily, Al Riveron actually did something right for once this year, and he contacted the officials and was like, no, he deferred. Blah blah blah. So the Cowboys they got it fixed by the time the game started, but yeah, the referee was like, "Oh, no, that ain't what happened." Blah blah blah. So the NFL's like, we want to simplify it. It's like simplified. It's like Madden's had it right for the last 30 years. It's like, how can you guys make it so difficult? It's not that hard. It's like if you kick off, then you're going to receive after halftime. Like that's all you got to do. Like I wonder, they have it so difficult. And it's just like they wonder why people sit there and they're just like, that makes no fucking sense.
So what do they want to change it to, I guess?
They haven't said, but you would think that that's what it would be. Because they say they want to simplify it. So that's the only way you could simplify it. Is just by sitting there and saying, whatever you pick, you get the opposite.
Yeah, like, I guess do it how I always thought it was.
Yeah.
I guess I never understood that. I know they said deferred, but I just essentially thought that meant they wanted the ball at half.
Yeah, because it was funny because I found that out when I was in high school for football. I was a sophomore and we were playing JV football, and the one kid was the captain. Well, I was a captain the one game with this one guy, and he sat there and he thought the same thing. So we won the coin toss, and he's like, "We're gonna kick off." And it's like, okay. And then we walk out, the captains come back out after halftime and they look at the opposite team. They're like, what do you guys want to do? And they're like, oh, we're going to receive. And so the guy on our team that called kicking, he was like, what's going on? He's like, we're supposed to get the ball. And they explained it. And it's like, as we're walking back, the coach is like, who the fuck who the fucked that up? And it's like everyone just pointed at him. We're like, it was all him. He plays too many video games.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I never paid that much attention.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah, that's stupid. I hate that. Yeah, NFL, fix it, get it right. All right, Kevin. Well, if that clears your stuff up, I might as well jump into the most fucked up situation. I'm gonna probably swear a lot. So for you all watching at home, understand that I do apologize, but my anger is at pretty much at a boiling point with the Haslam's. I'm to the point where I think the Haslam's should just sell the Browns. They shouldn't be allowed to own a team. They're now paying three coaches not. That's right, three coaches not to coach the Cleveland Browns next year. That is, without a doubt, one of the most ridiculous stats I've heard all week. So the Browns are like, you look at Cleveland and you go, we have 2,000-yard rushers. 2,000-yard receivers. You have a 1,500-yard run, just shy of 1,500 yards. I think 6 yards shy of 1,500 yards. Running back. And you just look at that and you go, yeah, this team's probably like, they probably were in a hunt. Like, that seems like a team that has some quality talent. No, 6-10, that squad. And then they fire their coach, which I fully support that part. And that's, if you guys listen to this, you know that's not how I usually think, especially when it comes to the Browns coaching situations. But then I listen to Haslam's. They shouldn't even be allowed to be in any more press conferences. Oh, no, let's back up a little further. Then they fire the guy who brought all that talent to town. Because they're like, listen, you brought this amazing amount of talent. And yes, the offensive line needs help. But overall, I think Dorsey did a hell of a job accumulating talent. He took the risk that a lot of people wouldn't have took and got Baker. I still think is the right move. Because you look at Baker's numbers, had a hell of a lot, 19 interceptions, I think. Or no, 21. 21 interceptions on the year. That being said, how many of those were guys who couldn't hold on the ball and they got intercepted? Yeah, he had some bad throws, but we all knew that. We all knew this guy was a gunslinger. He's going to have a lot of interceptions on a year-to-year basis. Don't care. It's going to happen. But you fire this guy who went out and got talent, Olivia Vernon, brought OBJ in, who, by the way, had 1,000 yards receiving this year.
I don't know how, but yes.
Fine, yeah, you're right. Like, I was surprised too, but had 1,000 yards. You have a guy like Landry who is a leader of this team.
Yeah.
You got guys like Kareem Hunt already coming out and said he'd love to finish his career in Cleveland. And he would love to be in the backfield with Chubb. To me, that's awesome, right? If you should make that happen.
Yeah.
And then and then you fire Dorsey, which was stupid because you feel like you have to make wholesale changes after every 2 years when you don't make the playoffs, and not realizing at some point you need to look in the goddamn mirror and go, oh, maybe I'm the problem. And not having faith in the people I put in power to do their job. Occasionally, you're going to have to fire a guy like Freddie Kitchens because it's so obvious he's not prepared to be a head coach. But I watched that. It was like, Kevin, I could have literally just went back to the archives, pulled out the last 2 times we fired coaches and played the exact same damn. It was the exact same press conference, except for this time he looked a little uncomfortable because the people were actually starting to call him out, basically like I'm saying, maybe he's the problem. This team, if I was a coach worth my salt, if I was the McCarthys of the world, we had the guy from Baylor refuse. He basically said thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
Because why would you want to leave a job at Baylor where you're probably locked in for as long as you want, the considerable future, and you're going to get real NFL opportunities with teams who don't fire guys after 6 months.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that's going to hurt them. I mean, if you're going to be a first-time NFL head coach, the Browns is the worst place for you to go because you have no support because they can say whatever they want and it doesn't matter. At the end of the season, you're gone. There's no guarantee.
Yeah, it's this playoff or bust mentality. You have to give a guy time. And I know that I'm being, what's the word I'm looking at here? I know I'm kind of talking out both sides of my mouth because I thought we should let Freddie go. But on occasion, you're going to have a guy. I think this is very rare, very rare. On occasion, you're going to have a guy who you just know you shouldn't have hired in the first place.
Yeah.
And I even go back to when they fired Chudzinski after his first year. I thought that was a terrible fire. I actually liked the way that team was rolling.
Yeah,
I thought they were heading in the right direction. Freddie just was like, from every person who's watched a fucking football game this year, was not ready. I think Freddie's a great guy. I like what he says at the podium. I like just, the whole, if you're not brown and orange, you don't matter. I love this energy that guy came with. All that's great. He just was not ready yet to be a head coach. That just happens. There's a rare occasion that happens. If I was any coach worth my salt, I would turn down the Cleveland Browns. Greg Roman, I would turn that job down in a heartbeat. Go.
I was surprised he actually met up with him.
Yeah, do you see what his quarterback said about that?
Ingram.
That was his quarterback too.
Oh, I didn't see that. I knew Ingram sat there and he retweeted what Schefter said and he's like, fail.
Oh, Lamar Jackson said that Cleveland basically should wait till after the playoffs. We got stuff to do. You'll have your chance after the playoffs.
That's funny. I didn't know that he said anything.
Yeah. But if I'm Roman, I won't even take the interview. Why would you leave a team like Baltimore, who, by the way, has a coach that has been in hot water, but guess what? They kept him, and look at him. They probably have the MVP.
Yeah.
In Lamar Jackson, who proved us all wrong. Short term. We'll see long term.
Yeah, I was about to say.
This year, though, hey, I got to give the guy props, Kevin. He dominated this league this year. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Yeah. He dominated the year. He should be the MVP, in my opinion. Why would you leave that to come to a team that if you don't, make a deep run in the playoffs, which I think this team has the talent to, but the fact is you're basically on the hot seat from the day they say you're hired. Your job's on the line. And I don't think that you have to give a coach, especially because now we're bringing a new GM too. Guess what, buddy? That set us back. I tweeted this a couple of days ago. It set us back at least probably 3 years of making a real run at the Super Bowl, if that was even an opportunity with this talent. Because I think anytime you do this, right, all these guys are going to have new offensive coordinator, probably new defensive coordinator. Baker's going to have his fourth offensive coordinator in 3 years.
Yeah.
It's an embarrassment. No wonder, you're going to have players fall back. You're going to have players kind of fall out of their numbers where they usually are because this kind of restructuring constantly. As much as I hate to say it, look at Pittsburgh, Kevin. You guys were on your 12th string quarterback, and we're in the playoff hunt until week 17. I mean,
yeah.
Mike, what's his name again? I'm having a hard time names today.
Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin honestly should be considered for Coach of the Year.
If they would have made the playoffs, I think he would have still been up there. But with them dwindling at the end there, yeah, I think that's going to be why he doesn't even really get considered anymore. So I mean, he would have been considered, but it's going to be Harbaugh.
So now we're looking at Cleveland's head coaches, right? Who do you bring in? Who do you think legitimately? I don't love McCarthy. I'll take him if I have to. 'Cause at this point, I feel like that's how it's going to end up. It's going to be what you have to take, not so much what you can get. Who do you think a guy would make a good fit for this roster with Baker Mayfield, with all the quote-unquote divas that you have?
And that's hard because, I mean, you got to get an offensive-minded guy, I think, in there to run it. But you got to have someone that can also control the team. Because, I mean, that was one of the things. Because, before they fired Kitchens, I saw one of the things their reporters were talking to Landry by his locker. And they were trying to, they were asking questions, basically get him to stick up for Kitchens. And he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
He would not stick up for him. And then after he got fired, he came out and, I can't remember what all he said. He said something about, needed, or they asked him about the new coach or whatever, what they need. And he's like, someone that disciplined, blah, blah, blah. And then, the last thing he said was someone that respects the other teams. And they were taking that as his shot at him wearing that Pittsburgh started it t-shirt.
And he's not wrong though, Kevin.
Oh, I completely agree. I've said that from the get go. Like that's the whole reason Myles Garrett lost his shit and got banned from the NFL for now because there's no discipline there, and
Yeah,
it's just like whether or not I'm not saying I don't think he was in there saying let's go out there and for that Steelers game and play dirty this and that. But when you have no discipline and you're out there and it's like let's go take it to these guys because you know how NFL how locker rooms. I mean even when I played high school football, it's always like this is the guy you want to hit, take him out. You say stuff like that all the time, and if there's no discipline, I mean you tell someone to go take this guy out, you're going to take something. Just ask Greg Williams. You're going to go out there and you're going to try to take the guy out. And it's like, if they would have been more disciplined, if none of that shit would have been going on, OBJ every week had something going on. Like he wasn't doing it vocally for reporters like in New York, but he was a distraction every freaking week for Christ's sakes. So it's like if you had someone disciplined, like you're not going to have to worry about the whole changing your shoes or you can't go back out after halftime, changing your visor, not to wear a watch because that just makes a whole lot of fucking sense to wear a watch while you're out there. There's always these stupid little things. And if you would have had a coach that at least had somewhat of a brain for discipline, none of that stuff would have been going on after week 2.
yeah. No, honestly, I think they need a guy like Greg Williams. Not that they need to bring Greg Williams in, but I think
He's not
honestly
coming back.
they would. No, I don't think they should bring him in. I'm just saying they should at least stayed. They should have stayed pat last year. They should have just kept everybody in the positions they were because I think Freddie would have done well just calling plays. If they had a guy like Greg who was very disciplined, led a disciplined football team, and he was kind of directing the way he wanted the offense to be run, but let Freddie call plays through that plan, we would have been better off than we ended this year. But going in, I think you need a guy who's going to be the face of the franchise. I think they said it. I was listening to NFL Good Morning today. Good Morning, well, NFL AM, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they said something I think I have to agree with, and that's basically that you need a coach who's going to be the face of the franchise. Take the pressure off Baker, right? Because everyone's always scrutinizing Baker being the face of the franchise. I think you bring in a guy like Urban Meyer, if you can. I actually like Josh McDaniels. I know that I have concerns, right? You look at the Indy situation where he just kind of walked away from that. Not great.
Yeah, but he is an Ohio guy. That is the one thing they got going for him on that part.
He's an Ohio guy, and he everyone raves about him, what he's doing in New England right now.
Yeah.
And he's spent a significant amount of time under Belichick, who probably runs one of the most structured, if not the most structured program in football. Right? I think McDaniels, for the intangibles, would actually do this team good. I don't think we're going to get McDaniels unless he does, have that desire to coach his hometown team type thing.
I've heard reports that that is something he's really interested in. So
yeah, and so that would be I can totally get down with that, right? I don't know. I don't know about this Roman guy. He is offensive minded. His offense is prolific, but is Baker going to be as good, with this offense? I think hiring a coach before GM is a bad idea. I think the fact that they're going back to this whole everybody answers to Haslam, terrible idea.
Yeah. And then did you hear there was reports that the offensive coordinator, which I still don't know why he had that job title.
Oh, Todd Monken. Yeah.
Yeah, where he was telling teams before the game how bad the Browns were.
Yeah. And I think, but I think it's all coming to light that they were a shit show.
Oh, I mean, everyone knew that especially after the Garrett thing. That's when everyone, you might have had your thoughts up until that point, but after that, then it's just yeah, it's crazy there. And it's you kept having the rumors of, they kept saying Beckham, was going to the team, saying, come and get me. And then after the Arizona game, which more people came out and were it's false. Like Landry, he was I didn't say anything like that. But there was they were saying there was a handful of guys that were coming out and were telling teams to come and get you. It's just that's not good because it's there's always some truth to everything.
I think Landry's a Cleveland guy. He's turned into a Cleveland guy. I think that guy.
when it came out about Beckham, I was like, yeah, I definitely believe that. But when it came out about Landry, I was like, yeah, I don't see that one.
I think he's appreciated that we showed our love when we gave him the fat contract. I think you can see by his play on the field that that guy is a leader and wants to turn this team around. That guy, not only does he he got hands that just catches balls I can't imagine, but he's not afraid to take a hit. Like he does those things that I think a diva wide receiver who didn't want to be here wouldn't do.
Yeah,
I think we need to keep OBJ. Like I said, I think we don't have any chance of losing him unless we trade him. He's under contract. I think we should seriously consider about franchising Hunt. But I think you're the one that maybe told me he's actually a restricted free agent, so we can match offers. I'm gonna Google that. Let's see where he's at. But I think you need to keep the core of this team together. I think your focus should be improving the offense somehow. And if that means trading Rashard Higgins, which I don't love, but seems like he, for whatever reason, has spoiled on the team, or the team has spoiled on him, I think there's value there.
Yeah.
But no way am I letting the core of this team go. They're all so young. Like they were saying on ESPN, the old guys on this team are Landry and OBJ, and they're only 27. You still got a couple of really good years out of those guys still coming, as long as they can stay healthy.
That's crazy to think that, when you hear that.
Yeah.
But the OBJ one, that one, I think if they traded him, I don't think the only thing that would be bad that would hurt losing him is he made Landry so much more accessible. Because Landry, he's a good heck of a receiver. I don't think he's a real number one kind of guy because he did good last year. But I just think he's so much better when he doesn't get all the coverage. Because that's what he brings at number one. But with OBJ, you got to send the two guys out there. That's who you're double covering.
No, I think you keep them both. You got to find a way to patch up the situation with Njoku, who seems very unhappy right now, very disrespected. With healthy,
I think that was a wasted pick, but
I think he's a talented tight end, man.
He's down, but he can't hang on to the ball.
Hasn't had a chance really. He is out most of this year, rookie year.
Well, whenever he has had a chance, he can't hang on to the ball.
We'll see. I'd still like to see what we can get out of him for a good, healthy year. I don't put a lot of stock in people's rookie years, in the sense that you essentially know if they have a great year, they're going to probably fall off a little bit in their sophomore year. I think you don't really see a guy for who he is till his third, fourth year anyways. I'd like to keep him. I don't know how old Seals Jones is, but this team in general is so effed up on the top. That's really what we have to figure out. Because it all starts right at the top of the ownership, and right now our ownership is a joke.
Yeah.
And the fact is, we missed out on who I thought was the best guy for this team in Rivera.
Yeah, he's definitely a no mess around guy.
Just so you know, Kareem Hunt is definitely a restricted free agent. He made $796,000 this year as a Cleveland Brown. I'm thinking his pay is going to go up because he did average 5 yards a carry. But still, I'm keeping that guy.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that backfield having Kareem Hunt and Chubb for an entire year? And by the way, Chubb got dicked out of being an All-Pro.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's his coach's fault. There's other players that got the numbers. So, it's not a big surprise.
Derrick Henry, I get. I actually went and looked at the numbers because Eric said something about that.
Yeah,
Derrick Henry
that's what I was writing down.
Henry had a good year. I went and looked it up. I go and I check this stuff out, especially when Eric says it, because 90% of the time he's full of shit.
And McCaffrey deserves to be the number one.
Okay, but I don't know.
You're only doing two teams. McCaffrey's number one, plain and simple.
Yeah,
the
McCaffrey
one is where you got to go. So Henry, he got the rushing title, and he got. See, the big thing was it didn't look like they used him right.
He got 50 more yards, right. I think 50 or 60 more yards than Chubb.
And then there's only but it's only a handful of carries more.
3 more carries. Yeah.
And then he missed a game on top of that.
Yeah, no, I'm not disrespecting. I think Henry kind of came out and finally popped out this year.
His contract year.
Is it really his contract year?
Yeah.
Well, that helps.
Yeah,
I think. What do you think about Tannehill long term there?
Mm-mm.
No,
No, he's Nick Foles. When he
that's
doesn't have a team, when he's not the main guy, it's not his team. He does good, but when it's everything's put on him, look at Miami. He's not that good.
yeah. But hold on. Here's where I might disagree with you when you say Nick Foles. Nick Foles has only done it in short spurts. I mean, Tannehill was the most of the season. He was Tennessee starter.
What?
And he was damn good. Like they jumped up significantly in every important stat for him for the entire year. Oh, and by the way, they're in the playoffs.
They are, but I'm telling you, he's Nick Foles.
Well, then whoever gets him next year is going to have another good year. Then, right? Is that what you're saying?
Unless they bring him in as a starter, because look at Nick Foles in Jacksonville.
Oh, could you imagine Tannehill at Tampa? Oh, I think that's going to happen now.
Well, why not? He screwed up Miami. Might as well screw up Tampa. Well, I mean, he can't really screw up Tampa anymore.
I don't think he screwed up Miami. The problem was he shouldn't have started right off the bat for Miami.
No, he shouldn't have. But I mean, I still don't think it's going to really change that much.
Dude, he's played really. I don't know, Kevin.
I'm telling you, it's not his team. He was sitting on the bench. If he goes out there and does bad, he's second string. It's no big deal. He goes back to the bench.
Yeah, but when did he come in? What week did he come in?
I don't know. But I'm telling you, that's the easiest way to put it. I mean, you can talk him up all you want, but that's the way I look at him. He never really impressed me down in Miami. So
70% completion percentage, 2,700 yards, 228 yards a game, 22 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. This guy has very much Derek Carr numbers.
Yeah, and he's going to be having a job too.
But you agreed with me that doesn't make any sense. What is the difference?
Because I'm telling you, one was the starter, one came into the job. It's a big difference.
He had 4 rushing touchdowns, so he ended up with 26 total touchdowns. He had 117 passer rating.
Matt, I'm not saying the numbers aren't bad, but I'm telling you what it is. In my opinion, he's Nick Foles. There's no other way for me to really put it there.
All right.
I could be wrong, but as of now, I look at him as Nick Foles. Because look, I said about Nick Foles last year, and you or Eric or somebody was going, "Oh no, he's so good," blah blah blah. Yeah, he got benched.
No, what I think I said.
That's right, because he's overpaid and he sucks.
What I think I said about Nick Foles, who probably lost his job to Minshew, by the way.
Without a doubt, lost his job to Minshew.
What I said about Nick Foles, who I think he got like $60 million guaranteed. He got some crazy guaranteed.
It was something crazy. It was like an $88 million contract.
Yeah,
I don't remember
like $60 million.
Was.
Let's look it up. I think it was like $60 million guaranteed. What was I saying? Minshew. Oh, Foles. What's weird about what I think I said about Nick Foles is that he was better than I would rather have him than Wentz, and I still stick to that because I think Wentz is proving me right every single day.
His whole starting wide receiver core was injured and out, and they're still in the playoffs.
Barely, because they're in the NFC East. They're in the playoffs.
That I agree with you, but it's like you got to look at the stuff. Like his numbers are not that bad for not having any of your main receivers.
Yeah. So Nick Foles, 4 years, $88 million. Guaranteed at signing, $45 million. Total guaranteed, $50 million.
Oh yeah.
That guy, what a deal.
And he's gonna get cut.
And
well, depends how big of a cap hit it will be. If not, he's gonna be a very expensive backup quarterback.
How much money has he made? I didn't realize that he's 31.
I don't know. He's made enough money though.
Who drafted Nick Foles?
Pretty sure Philly.
Oh, that's right, because then he left Philly, right, to go to the Rams.
Well, I'm pretty sure they traded him.
To the Rams, right?
Yeah, the Rams, and then he went to Kansas City, then he was done, and then Philly brought him back because they needed a quarterback.
He's made almost $70 million in his career.
Hey,
go Nick Foles.
As long as he's good with his money.
Yeah, look at that picture. I'm looking at his picture. That's the whitest guy I've ever seen. That guy's got, like, investments and portfolios and shit. And maybe he probably drives like an Audi. I don't think that guy's rocking a Bugatti with spinners. My own personal, maybe that sounds a little racist, not meant to. But let's just be the facts of the facts. If you come, that guy came from like a middle class family. Is all I'm saying. That guy did not come from like the hood, white or black. Did not come from the hood. That guy's parents are probably still married. Telling you, that guy's got like all kinds of stuff set up. He's got what we call generational wealth now. And I'm about to get what's Bert Kreischer call it? Fuck, I don't know. Can't even think. I watched his stand up by the way yesterday, which I've seen 3 or 4 times. His last one, Secret Time, waiting for his new one to come out. And I literally about pissed myself. And I've seen it 4 times, so I know like there's not like new jokes. Oh, dude, him, and then I also watched Tom Segura's because I've kind of gotten into Tom Segura a little bit since him and Bert are such good friends.
Yeah,
that guy's stand-up's pretty good too.
Yeah, I think it was his last one. He got a lot of flack because the one joke he said retard, and he got a lot of flack for it. But it's like if you listen to the joke, like it's not bad. He's not making fun of mentally handicapped people or anything. But people were complaining, and they were like writing to Netflix and complaining that they couldn't believe that they played something like that. It was crazy, but yeah, it was definitely. I thought it was. I liked it.
Yeah, I don't know. You got the this cancel culture. That's all they like to do is make people look like shit. Hey, speaking of that, I've been watching a lot of TV. And I know I'm getting into shit that's probably gonna run me past my 11 o'clock deadline here. I've been watching a ton of movies. Like I watched Ferrari versus
Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah, watched that again. The screener of that. I rocked. Man, I've been killing Joker. Oh shit! What did I just
really like that?
What did I just watch? This like literally, I've been Black and Blue. That was a good movie, or what is it called? It might not was called. Oh, and that one, Just Mercy, with Jamie Foxx, killer movie.
I don't know which one's that. Is that the one with Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tore that one up. That. About to watch some Frozen 2 maybe tomorrow.
That's pretty good. I took Winnie to see that last week.
I've been killing it on the movies, but I watched this show. 2 things. 2 shows I think you should check out if you haven't. Netflix, the little mini series with Kevin Hart. I thought it was like a stand-up comedy when it came up, so I went to watch it, and it's really like this 6-part half-hour shows of just like his life over the last couple of years. Basically, it kind of basically starts and ends and tells all the shit in between the him being the Oscars or whatever it was host, and then all that shit went down. That's actually really good. Feel like biopic stuff. But then also, new show came out yesterday. I don't know, on Fox, Deputy.
I missed it. I wanted to see that, but I missed it.
So watch it on that on your thing for the seasons. I'm telling you, Kevin. I think that you could tell like what a show's going to be like in the first. I think like Newsroom, which I love that show.
Yeah.
First couple of minutes, it's got a scene that's powerful, right? Man, that show just hit it from the word go, and all the way through was a banger.
Newsroom. Speaking of that, I actually brought up because I was thinking about that because I really like that show.
Fucking
I sat
great
there
show.
And I brought up what the heck was it? The very first episode where he's the very beginning, like the first 10 minutes, where he sits there and that one lady's like, "Why is America great?" or something. Like that whole scene, yeah. That as soon as you see that part, I'm just like, oh yeah, yeah. It was just so good because it gets you like brought into the whole thing. He goes on that rant, and then he realizes like, oh shit.
Yeah, like oh shit, I just got cancel cultured. Oh, another one, Mr. Rogers movie.
Oh, okay.
Will You Be My Neighbor? Tom Hanks is dude, again, movie from the beginning to end. Fucking amazing movie.
I want to watch it. I was never like a Mr. Rogers fan. I didn't watch the show or anything like that, but it's Tom Hanks, so it's going to be a good movie.
Here's why I love it. I think it like touched me at my core because you've heard me talk a whole bunch, and if you guys, anyone knows me, knows, like, have heard me talk, like, I love conversations. Like, yes, I love talking about sports, but everything else as well, like political, religion, like everything. Like, I just, in listening to people, getting their side, and like at the core of that movie, that's all Mr. Rogers did in his life. Like, he was a great listener and a great communicator. And I think that's why that movie was so awesome. I love how they shot it. It was phenomenal. Like, I'm not going to say I cried. I'm not going to say I didn't cry, but it was pretty good. All right, before we go, though, buddy, we got 4 games this weekend. Let's break them down. I want to know who you think is going to win. I'll tell you right off the bat, to make it simple, I think the away team's going to win every game this week. So, I'll go through them. Let's go Bills-Texans. Who you think's taking that one? Bills at Texans.
I'd like to see the Bills, but I think Texans are going to win it.
I believe in that Bills defense, and I love Josh Allen can be great on occasion. And I think this is going to be his coming out party. Titans, Patriots. And this is my big one because I do think the Titans are going to send the Patriots packing, which means, hey, that means McDaniels could take a job if he wants Saturday.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I think Tom Brady's on the decline. I think it's finally here.
Now, I do want to ask you about that because I heard some rumors there, too, that he might be on his way out of New England.
That's what everyone's saying, just because of his contract stuff. But I'd be surprised if that happened. I don't see it happening because I just don't know how good he's going to be without Belichick.
I'm just waiting for Eric going Twitter crazy over Tom Brady to the Denver Broncos.
If Tom Brady leaves, he's going to be the Dallas Cowboys' next quarterback.
Vikings at Saints.
I think the Saints are going to win it. And here's my thing. This is what I'm kind of hoping for. I know it ain't going to happen, but it'd be awesome if it was. It's going to be – this is how I see the game coming down. It's going to be Cleveland Part 2. Cleveland-Jacksonville Part 2. It's going to be the end of the game. Vikings going to be driving, and it's going to be a tic-tac pass interference call, and they're going to review it, and they're going to call the pass interference and give it for the Vikings, and then the fans, New Orleans fans, are going to go crazy and start throwing shit all over the field.
Well, our problem was that they call it ticky-tack play. Our problem was that we already ran a play.
Well, I know. I'm just saying how it's gonna be a ticky-tack pass interference. That's gonna get it where they're gonna review.
I think it'd be great for TV. Seattle at Philly.
I think Seattle's going to win that one.
Philly got in by the nick of their teeth. They're, like you said, their wide receiving core is ravaged. In Seattle, we got Beast Mode back. He got in the end zone last week. Seattle's still my sneaky team this offseason. I know a lot of people don't have faith in them going deep. I think they're way better than the Packers, who are at 13-3, might be the worst 13-3 team going into a playoff that I've seen in recent memory.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
So I think Seattle's my surprise team throughout this playoff. I still think they're going to be the NFC. I think it's going to come down to them in San Francisco again. And I think that the Seahawks represent the NFC in the Super Bowl, but we'll get there when we get down that road. 5 weeks to the XFL kicking off. Outside of that, I don't have anything else tonight. I got to get up and go to work at 3:45 in the morning. Hopefully my pain pills keep working. This ACL is no joke when you're trying to do little shit. Here's the thing, like, I can hobble around pretty good, but it's like the weirdest shit that you just don't even think about that you do on a day-to-day basis. And my leg's like, fuck you. And it just buckles from underneath me the second I try to do it.
Yeah, it's not good.
No, it's not fun at all. But that's what happens when you're not an athlete and you're fat. They say, we're going to rehab you. So here we go. You got anything else today, buddy?
No, it covers it pretty much.
All right, well, I'm looking forward to seeing what XFL team you decided to choose. I've already made my Roughneck fandom known outside. It could only be for a year because if they expand to an Ohio team, sorry, guys. If I can go to a game, that's my squad. Outside of that, you guys have a great week. We will see you hopefully next Friday. I'm Matt Pierce with Kevin Tenney. Y'all have a great week. Kevin, take it easy, buddy. I will talk to you later, man.
All right, take it easy.
To everyone, I said hello.
Will do.
And hopefully, like, I don't fuck some shit. Like, now my monitor won't even go over. I'm trying to hit the end button. It doesn't want us to stop. It's like, keep going, motherfuckers. All right, buddy. Take it easy, man.
All right, you too.
All right, guys. Thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. That was my friend Kevin and I chatting about some NFL football and other things going on. Look for some more podcasts this year coming from me. I'd like to get 104 this year, whether that be a guest on your show or hosting mine. Definitely want to get more involved with this stuff. So you guys all take it easy. Until next time.